Everything's disappearing on Jeep's back-end ordering system. Will the 2026 Wrangler and Gladiator be here sooner than expected? Find out in today's breaking Jeep news from Dirt Road CRED. So today we just got back from going down to our friends at Sands Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Quakertown and talking to our really good friend Anthony about everything that's going on right now in the Jeep world. Not only did he text us the other day and said, hey guys, that dark sky that you ordered has already shipped out. Ryan, you can cue up the screen here. Our dark sky and juice is already on the way to the dealership. And man, we are excited to see where that thing is. It's been built. And if you guys haven't seen our stories on our Instagram, we actually got the email that it's like final check mark and it was shipped out. You guys better believe as soon as we get that thing in, the first mod that we're going to be installing is a set of our Dirt Road CRED LLC high power floor lights for the juice. And I think we're going to go with amber because all you guys have been sending us photos of amber, and I think amber mixed with that juice is just going to be like a chef's kiss and just look perfect. But really cool update, and we cannot wait to get that Jeep in, start tinkering with it. But also he's keeping us up to date on what you can and can't order. Just as quickly as we were able to order the dark sky package, just a few days later, it has now been on restriction for a few days, if not a week. And a lot of people over the weekend were saying, hey Matt, hey Ryan, I went to order a juice at my local dealership in a Wrangler, and poof, just like that, that's gone as well. Well, today we had a chance to sit down with Anthony, look at the back end of the Dealer Connect site, see what's available, and a lot that has been missing. So when we started to sit down with Anthony, he kind of made mention right away that there was a ton of things that were on restriction. And not only that, there was only certain ways that you could order the Jeep. Anthony has kind of talked about this before in the past and said when this starts to happen, it's kind of starting to look like the next model year might start to trickle in. So right away, what we're seeing here is just in the beginning, the four-door Sport, the Sport right-hand drive, the Sport 4xe, the Sahara 4xe, and the Rubicon 4xe are all on some sort of restriction. The only one that's not is going to be the Sahara, the Rubicon, and the 392. But as we go through this, we're kind of checking it out just the same as a customer would be sitting there. So he has this on customer view, sitting us down just like we are a standard customer. So let's check out, kind of see what else. So yeah, going right into the Sport, basically every trim, 22B, 23B, 24B, Sport S, and the Willys are all red. They're all red. So not too many options on the Sport. Saharas they're still allowing, but when you click on Sahara, you can do both of those. So you can definitely click on Sahara and get those done. And that's the automatic and the manual there, if I'm not mistaken, or just the 2.0 or the 3.6. But the paint codes on the Sahara, you can only get black, white, firecracker red, granite crystal, or hydro. So 41's gone, juice is gone, anvil's gone.
Not just on the Sahara though.
No, just on the Sahara for that one, yeah. And then the Sport you can't order at all. But when he goes down through, so the Rubicon is available to order. So if he clicks on Rubicon, this gets kind of interesting too, because he was doing this. The Rubicon X is only available for the 6-speed. So like the Rubicon X is always available, right? Like that's the Extreme Recon, that's what everyone's buying. The Rubicon X, as of the moment of this filming, was only available with the manual, which is probably a pretty rare vehicle to have. We just drove Anthony's, so not too many of those rolling around, but the other two were kind of restricted out. Now the other thing I want to mention before we get too far is this changes like every day. So it could be available now the next day, but as he's going through and clicking on this, the available paints in the Rubicon, you could still get 41 Anvil, black, white, firecracker red, granite, hydro, and the Mojito. Juice is gone, but everything else is still there, but you could only get it in a 6-speed manual for an X. So if you're trying to order a 41 Rubicon X and a regular one with the 35's Extreme Recon, that's gone. So pretty interesting to kind of see that on the backside. It's actually extremely interesting. But let's see what else he has kind of popping up, because we were rolling through and Ryan was getting a lot of really good shots of it. But let's go back. He's going to check out, I think, one more trim. So the 392, when he clicks on that one, still it's the final edition. So it still pops up as the final edition. That one, I believe all the colors are available besides Juice. So Juice is definitely completely gone on the Wrangler as of right now. And that's pretty much what they told us too, that it was going to be a limited run color. But after we checked out the 392, he's going to go into the Gladiator. So Gladiator's what's up next because that's what we just ordered, and Gladiator's having more of a hard time. So let's see what's going on with the Gladiator. He's going to change it now to that screen, go into the Gladiator side of things, and right away it doesn't look like anything's on restriction. So he's just clicking on nothing's red on there. The high tide's back though, so he said that was blacked out or red out the past day or so, but now that's back. But if he goes in and hits the Sport S, the only trim that's on restriction, dark sky appearance package. So we got it. It was launched in their social media, and then as soon as it was there, it was gone. We talked to a good friend, Tyler Cohn. He tried to order 2 or 3 for his dealership, couldn't even get them as stocked units. So was it one of those things where that package was kind of released, they filled up their order banks quick enough, and then that was it?
It was too good to be true. I mean,
That was a great deal. Yeah, it was a really great deal. I'm excited we got it in juice. Who knows? It might be kind of a rare bird. But yeah, he was just clicking through and kind of seeing what's going on in the Mojave. So I think he's clicking on that at the end here. But anyways, kind of clicking through the Gladiators, the Mojave X. All the colors are still hanging out on the Gladiator. So including juice is still remaining. But I think if we're talking about this, the Gladiator might hang on longer than the Wrangler. Do you think that might be a reasonable thing? Because the Wrangler, the 2024 Wrangler was out 4 or 5 months before the Gladiator for the 2024 Gladiator. So if they're following that timeline, maybe the Wrangler will get refreshed or add some new colors or add some new trims. And then a few months later, the Gladiator will follow. I think that might be a reasonable thing to say. But what Anthony said is that when stuff like this starts to happen, that the new model year is starting to come in. So he was already being able to look at the 2026 Ram 1500s. He's able to look at some other 2026 model years. And in fact, he just got a new color that's available on the Ram 1500. That's called, it's like Canyon something. But it was PJ7, I want to say. And there was 2 paint codes called Char Gold. Both of them were on a Grand Cherokee, and they're kind of like a gold mixed with either an olive or a gold mixed with almost like a gray. We'll have to see what it looks like in person. I'm thinking it's the gold mixed with olive. If it's anywhere near shelter green on the Bronco and the Raptors, that's a badass color. Ryan, what do you think? You've seen the shelter green Raptors. If that would be on like a 392 or a Gladiator with a lot of flake in it, add some bronze accents or even some orange accents look great, but maybe that'll swap over to the Wrangler side. He said the other day there was actually 2 new colors as well on there. So I would anticipate that if Jeep is starting to cut some of these trims, they're removing a little bit of them from the back end as of today, it could change tomorrow, that we might inevitably be ready to see the new lineup. So really, what does all of this mean? It's a lot of talk and a lot of things going on. And if you're vested into Jeep like we are, it definitely makes sense for us to follow along with all of this, especially being that our channel relies on what this corporation does as a whole. So what we know about what's coming in the future. Obviously, Jeep just appointed a new CEO, Antonio Filosa. A lot of people in the comments last time were not really too excited about that, and they're not really sure what's going to happen. What we are sure of and what we do know is going to happen is that in June, there is going to be a ton of things going on at Stellantis Corporate. Not only is there a confirmed investors meeting to kind of figure out what the heck is going on with this new CEO, but there's also been rumblings, and when I say that I speak candidly of that, of all sorts of other powertrain and different engine options going on in the month of June. I've seen some posts on the TRX forum talking about June 8th is going to be something big coming for the Dodge lineup. I've seen in the Stellantis media that they're talking about the Dodge Durango returning with the RT and the Hemi in it. And then also, we've been seeing just all sorts of talk, even about the Hemi coming back into the Dodge Charger. So what all this means is that I think Jeep is preparing, hopefully, for something big and something spectacular. I really think it is about a few years overdue. Ryan, you could say the same thing. We've kind of just been peddled and fed just the same things. Besides the new screen and the curtain airbags, it's kind of been same old, same old. No diesel, no Hemi in the Gladiator, no real upgrades. And I think by them removing these things and making a big change on the back end, whether that be a glitch or just a temporary change, means that they might be clearing house and getting ready for that 2026 Wrangler, inevitably then the 2026 Gladiator. We've frequently seen in Q2 Jeep do this. So in our experience at a dealership and working with them in Q2, which is from April till June, they'll make some changes like this, and then in Q3 be ready to launch the new model year. The past few years have been jumbled all over the place because of well, let's just say global things that were happening, all sorts of other fun stuff going on. They pushed these dates out and didn't follow their typical schedule. I think what Jeep needs to do is do a full regroup and circle back on this offline a little bit and really get together with their new CEO and launch this 26 and give it some real guts, give it something for the Jeep community to dig into. But what we think Jeep needs to do now is they really need to shake things up. Like I said, that confirmed investor meeting, people that are investing into Stellantis, and we're not talking about like Ryan and I with like our 1/4 of a share in Stellantis. We're talking about guys and gals that have major funds involved in this. They need to see a turnaround because Stellantis as a whole was really in a bad way. So what they need to see though is to bring that excitement back in the US, bring that excitement back globally. And I think a lot of other auto manufacturers are on board. We just saw Ford release that new Ranger Super Duty in Australia. I've heard rumors, and actually it might be true, GM is investing close to $1 billion into a new V8 generation. That's big news, Ryan. Like, that's awesome to hear. But where's the Stellantis news? The only news that we're really seeing from this was a spy shot from our friends at TFL that there was a 4xe with a charge port on the Gladiator outside of a hotel. And I know people ripped that thing apart in the comments. It's like they're putting money into something that we don't want. Like, stop investing into it. You don't need the laptop to test it. Just throw the 5.7 into it and be done. You're good. It's easy. You make it already. But that's another hill that I can go die on somewhere else. What I think though needs to happen is we got to see some new colors. I think Jeep though, Ryan, you and I have been agreeing, they've been doing a good job at releasing colors. We had Fathom, Juice, 41, Mojito, we had Bikini, Tuscadero, a lot of stuff kind of coming in and out, and I think they were doing a really fantastic job. So it seems like they are more willing to add and release new colors, as well as get back to the basics of allowing color match fenders or allowing different things being added on, as we just spoke about today. They just need to get back to that like 2020, 2021 era where we had 4 or 5 engine options, a ton of colors, and you could really customize your Jeep. But they need to take that to the next step and just add a couple more engine options. Yeah. I think they need to get to it. And whether or not they're going to do it, I think whether or not they do this is almost a pivotal moment for Jeep. If they keep handing us a BS sandwich, people aren't going to keep buying them. I think people have already been pretty upset. We have a good friend that he's going through the corrosion issues. I think there is a lot of people that this brand needs to do that 180, and our whole livelihood revolves around it because that's all we buy. So they need to do something pretty significant to really get those buyers back. All right, so it is the next day. I wanted to jump out in the shop here, and I'm actually filming myself. So wanted to send this over because Ryan shot me a text and said, it looks like Jurassic World is actually partnering up with Jeep from a recent Instagram post. Now, what was interesting about that is that Jeep has not really partnered up with a ton of, I would say, TV shows or movies in a little while. Now, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I think we saw a Gladiator in some of the other Jurassic Worlds, and then there was one in Fast and Furious, but not really a ton going on with them. I really hope that this is kind of the beginning of kind of starting to get the name and the brand out there a little bit more. Scarlett Johansson was in the passenger seat waving, and although it was a 4xe and not the iconic original YJ or even like a 392 or something cool, it was still neat to see the Jeeps doing it. But I wanted to send this over and just talk about that for a second. What other film or movies or even TV shows do you think Jeep should be in? I think it's at least cool that they're starting to get back into it. I think that there's a lot going on with Jeep, and I think today's video is meant to be positive. These are changes on the back end that normally signal a really cool change on the back end, as well as some publicity releases from Jeep. Now, we're not getting anything else besides what we're seeing and what's available to the general public, and we're really excited to share all of this information with you guys. Now, I think personally, the Juice Gladiator that we ordered is probably gonna be here this week, next week, or maybe the following at latest, and we can't wait to start wrenching on that. And then the 2026 Wrangler, I'm gonna guess June 8th. I think that date, Ryan, I think something's going on with it. What's your call?
June 8th, yeah.
June 8th?
Monday or Wednesday?
What's today? Today's the 2nd, so is that a Sunday? Today's the 2nd, June 8th is a Sunday. So maybe that Monday, or maybe they're waiting, everyone's gonna be at home and they're gonna do like a press release or a launch. Jeep just needs to do that where they drive the Jeeps onto the stage and the Rams, and remember last time they were like introducing the 4xe Sport S. Anyways, though, I hope they pull the stuff on the stage and are like, this is some really cool stuff. And I'm gonna say June 9th then. maybe like middle of June. They have their investor board meeting, they have pizza party, then they launch
June 11th.
new Jeeps. June 11th?
Yeah.
And then 2026 Wrangler is available probably end of June to order, with hopefully some new badass colors. So that's our predictions. You guys let us know down below. Also, what do we got to say? Some general housekeeping stuff, Ryan. We got some shows coming up. We're gonna try and make it to some of the smaller shows. If we are at a show, we'll post up a day before when we're going there, but we're definitely planning for Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion. We got a lot of cool stuff planned for that, and we can't wait to see you all down south. But yeah, just some housekeeping stuff. We got to get our Jeeps ready. We have some cool wraps in the works that we're working on for the Jeeps. I'm excited about those. Obviously, thank you guys so much for all the support with all the products we have going on. We've got some cool stuff actually out to the laser right now to get cut and do some test fitting, I think. With that new Jeep and with my Jeep, hint, hint, it fits both. It's gonna be really cool. So we got some really cool stuff coming, and we just can't wait to share it with you guys. Thank you as always for following along and being part of our journey. From Ryan behind the camera and me here talking to you, we want you to get out there and earn yours.